In this video, I'd like to talk about the security options that VPC offers, specifically the differences between security groups and network ACLs. A security group acts as a virtual firewall for your instance to control inbound and outbound traffic. When you launch an instance in a VPC, you can assign up to 5 security groups to the instance. Security groups act at the instance level, not the subnet level. Therefore, each instance in a subnet in your VPC could be assigned to a different set of security groups. If you don't specify a particular group at launch time, the instance is automatically assigned to the default security group for the VPC. For each security group, you add rules that control the inbound traffic to instances, and a separate set of rules that control the outbound traffic. By contrast, a Network Access Control List, or ACL, is an optional layer of security for your VPC that acts as a firewall for controlling traffic in and out of one or more subnets. You might set up network ACLs with rules similar to your security groups in order to add an additional layer of security to your VPC. So, just to reinforce the differences between security groups and network ACLs, let's compare them side by side. First of all, security groups operate at the instance level, where network ACLs operate at the subnet level. Security groups support only allow rules, while network ACLs support both allow and deny rules. Security groups are stateful, meaning return traffic is automatically allowed regardless of any rules, while network ACLs are stateless, meaning the return traffic must be explicitly allowed by rules. And finally, because security groups operate at the instance level, they apply to an instance only if someone specifies the security group when launching the instance or associates the security group with the instance later on. Whereas network ACLs automatically apply to all instances in the subnet that they're associated with. Therefore, you don't have to rely on users to group the security group. Let's take a look at the following diagram to find out a little bit more about how security groups and network ACLs work. We're looking at a non-default VPC with 2 subnets, but the most important thing to note here is that when traffic is routed, it hits a network ACL before it reaches the subnet, and then it hits the security group. By contrast, for outgoing traffic, the instances have to answer to the rules that the security group has, but then all instances in a subnet are filtered through the rules applied by the network ACL before they hit the gateway. And if that makes sense, then let's switch to our AWS dashboard to find a little bit more about how these work. Let's start by finding Network ACLs under Security on the left side of the page, and selecting the default ACL for this VPC. Let's check out the inbound rules first. So right off the bat, the very first rule, rule number 100, is a rule that allows all incoming traffic over any protocol in any port range. The asterisk rule means that this rule is going to catch any incoming traffic that isn't already covered by another rule. But because this rule covers any possible incoming traffic, the asterisk doesn't currently have any traffic that it can catch, which means all incoming traffic is allowed. Similarly, if we click on outbound rules, we'll see the same thing for outbound. So all traffic is allowed for outbound. And then of course, there's the catch-all that isn't going to catch anything the way this network ACL is configured. And then finally, if we click on subnet associations, we'll see that for default VPCs, every subnet is associated with this network ACL, meaning at the ACL level, subnets are completely allowed all incoming and outgoing traffic. Next, under security, we'll click on security groups. Now, we've already created a few security groups while making this course, but the one we're looking for is the default VPC security group for now. Let's go to outbound rules first, and there's only one rule, and it's a rule that allows all outbound traffic. For inbound rules, there's only one rule, and it's a rule that allows any traffic from any other resource in the same security group. And now you might be thinking, well, I don't see a rule that allows incoming internet traffic, so wouldn't that mean internet traffic is denied? But remember that security groups only deal with allow rules. They don't deal with deny rules, either explicitly or implicitly. That's controlled at the network ACL level. And recall that the network ACL for the default VPC allows all incoming traffic by default. And that about wraps it up for security options in VPC. So if all of that makes sense, feel free to move on.